If I had to grow a YouTube channel right now in a crowded niche, I would focus on these 3 things first. Because this is what most channels look like. Same topic, same thumbnail, same opinions. So eventually, every channel looks like a slightly worse version of the previous one. But this is where you need to be. Not necessarily the biggest channel out of all of these bunches, but one that people can remember and one that stands out. This is an outlier. We've helped multiple 6- and 7-figure brands and even one 8-figure brand do the exact same thing across their YouTube channels. For example, we helped a software company, Pop AI, generate over 4.2K from one video that had less than 100 views for a low ticket offer. Or we even have Elliot, who collected over 50K in deals for his AI agency from YouTube organically. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the 3 things that I would change to help your YouTube channel stand out from everyone else in your niche. And I'm gonna help you understand how to make viewers choose your channel over everyone else in your niche. Let's get into it. The first thing that we're gonna focus on is your unique advantage and how people are gonna see you differently. So what we're gonna have is we're gonna have 2 boxes here. One of them is going to be your unique path, and I suck at drawing, so don't, judge me on that. But this is going to be, generic people who do the same thing over and over. And this is going to be you. You're going to be different. And so I'm going to use my business as an example. What a lot of people are saying in my niche is, I'm going to help you grow on YouTube, or I'm going to help you get a lot of views. I'm going to help you get subscribers. You're going to become a big YouTuber. Okay, cool. But what makes me different from everyone else? Well, I'm not going to say I'm just going to help you grow your YouTube channel. What I'm going to say is, instead of just, getting you views and subscribers, what I'm going to help you get is money. We are conversion focused. That's probably the word right there. We're conversion focused, and we're going to help you actually make money so you can continue to do what you like doing, which is creating content or just getting inbound leads for your business. And so that's just one thing, right? That's just the offer. Now we need to do other things to stand out in the market, which is not just that, but we also need to work on packaging. We also need to work on the value that we're actually giving in the content, because you don't want to sound like everyone else. Sure, you can have the same packaging, okay, but what's going to really weigh the most is the value that you're providing, because if it's different from everyone else, people are going to see you as a one-of-one, someone who actually gives unique value and actually has insights that not everyone else has. They're going to see you as the authority right there. And the last thing we're going to have is beliefs, which is pretty much the way you think about things. When it comes to the packaging, to be different, pretty much what you want to do is competitive research, as well as looking at other niches. Let's say you're in the SEO niche, you're talking about Google SEO. What you can do is look at the meta ads niche, right? Look at how they're packaging their videos and their thumbnails, and then apply it to your niche. It's pretty simple from there. I know you've probably heard this thousands of times. Now, when it comes to the value, this is where it's going to get interesting, because this weighs so much on your videos. And so what a lot of people do is they get the value from other creators in their exact market. And you don't want to do this, because then you're going to sound just like everyone else. What you want to do instead is you want to take value from 2 different data points. And so I'm going to put a line here. The first data point is going to be your business, right? And so your unique insights. If you run a big business, or if you just run a business in general, you want to be able to take the data and the analytics that you're collecting from your clients in your business in general, and then you want to leverage that in your videos, because it gives you a unique advantage over everyone else. Everyone's saying generic advice they're hearing from other people. You're seeing advice that you've taken from firsthand experience. There's a big difference there, and people are going to see you as the authority because you actually run the business that you're talking about. And then the next one is going to be investing. This one's a big thing as well, because if you're investing into masterminds, maybe people who are far ahead of you, and you're paying for information that isn't on the free market, then you can take that information. You don't have to give all of it away, but you can take it and you can implement a lot of it into your free content. And guess what that's going to do? That's going to make you seem like the industry leader, because people are going to be like, I've never heard this info before ever in my life. And that's because it's always been behind a paywall. But once you take it out of that paywall and you give it for free to your audience, you're going to be like, whoa, this guy's giving so much value. Let me go work with this guy. This guy knows so much more. I bet he's just gatekeeping it. They're going to want to work with you. So that's how you give a lot of unique value. Those are 2 different ways. And then when it comes to beliefs, you really just want to be different. So a lot of people will believe the same thing. I'll use my niche again, for example. What a lot of people will say is, oh, growing on YouTube, you need millions of views to get like money off YouTube, right? That is completely false. That's not true. What you want to do is you want to have a different belief from everyone else. And actually, I helped our client Nick with 200 subscribers, by the way. He started with that. Now he's at about 1.2, 1.3K. I helped him cross the 6-figure mark, over 100K in deals directly from YouTube, right? And so my belief is a bit different, because I'm taking data from my business, and I'm also taking my actual belief, which is that you don't need millions of views or hundreds of thousands of subscribers to make money on YouTube. You just need to be targeted. And so that's my beliefs. And then I'm also taking data from my business, which means my beliefs and also the value I'm providing is unique because it's taken from actual experience. So a different way to think about it is like, what do you see? What do you get to do? What do you get to test, or what do you get to experience that the average person in your market does not get to? And so for me, it's helping a small YouTube channel, taking data from my business and using my actual belief, putting it together and seeing that actually turn into a result that my ideal client actually wants. And so that would make a banger video, which is why I made a video about that case study breakdown. If you want to watch it, click the card at the top right of the screen, one of those sides. I always don't know which one. but that would make a banger video. And so that made me a lot different. So I'm not gonna go into more depth with this, but what you wanna do is just make your audience understand this is the better path, this is where you wanna go, and this is the wrong path. Just help them believe that, and they're gonna start to trust you a lot more once they start seeing results and once you start giving them a reason to trust you. But now that you have that, a strong positioning is not enough. Like, sure, you can give a lot of good value, you can be different from the market, but a lot of people are kind of the same as you, to be honest. A lot of people have the same value, a lot of people have the same type of business, and a lot of people have the same type of results. But what's really gonna make you stand out is gonna be your personal brand. Not everyone is you. Like, my name's Marquise, not everyone is a Marquise. Not everyone looks like me, talks like me, has the same business as me. All those things combined, right? That's what makes everyone unique, and that's what a personal brand is. And so I actually call this the human hook, right? And so you're hooking people in with your human self, with your personal story. It's the reason people choose you over someone else. Let's say you have a better offer, or let's say you have a better business, but no one likes you, right? People like this other guy instead who has a worse business, worse results, maybe where he's from or something relates to their ideal client profile. Then they're gonna wanna go with this guy instead, but just because they like him more. And you might be surprised how that works, but it's actually a real thing. I've had people buy from me just because they like me. It's kind of crazy how it works, but people will trust you a lot more just because they relate to you. So you want to make sure to leverage that in your videos a lot more. Don't just give a lot of value. What you want to do is give a lot of your background as well, or maybe a little bit about your story. Like in some of my videos, even though I'm giving value, I like to combine a story into it and then give the value out of that story. So it's kind of storytelling while also providing value. This is how banger videos are created. So it's really just about standing out, and we call this personal branding. So I hope you see where we're going here. So we have your unique advantage in the market, and we have your personal brand. And so I want you to look at these three things. And so I'm gonna put UA for unique advantage. I'm gonna put PB for personal branding, right? And then you're gonna have your YouTube channel here. So let's say this is your YouTube channel, right? This is your YouTube channel, imagine that. And this is your personal brand, right? So tied to it, we just talked about personal brand. And then when it comes to unique advantage, you wanna just leverage that in your videos. Because think of it, when you're on the YouTube search page, right? Imagine that's a video, someone's searching something like how to do SEO in 2026. You don't want to be down here looking like everyone else, right? Let's say all these people are the same. Even if you're the last one, you want to be different. You don't want to look like everyone else, because then people are going to just click the top one because they associate this top box, this top video with people that have the most authority, the highest quality, etc. And people at the bottom are going to be associated with lower quality stuff, right? But if you're different from everyone else, you're eventually going to make your way to the top. And you'd be surprised how fast it is. But you're just going to be a one of one. That's what I like to call it. And this is what makes you an industry leader over a matter of time. So if you don't look the same as everyone else, you're different. People are going to click this video because all these are the same, literally. People are going to click this video, and you're going to end up being number one eventually. With, as you stay consistent, as you keep posting. So that is really the goal. That's your unique advantage in the market, and that's how you're gonna stand out over time. And it really comes down to consistency. You can be different in one video, one time, sure, but over time, that's gonna compound and make you an instant authority. Another way you can do this is by, let's say all these videos are the same. I kind of talked about this in my previous video. Let's say these are all whiteboard videos, right? Someone who's standing here and they're talking about looking at the whiteboard, right? Let's say these are all the exact same thing. I'm not gonna draw everything, but let's say these are all the exact same thing. What you can do to be different is leverage a different format. And a lot of people don't talk about this. So instead of doing this whiteboard video that everyone else is doing, what you can do is maybe an edited talking head video, or maybe like a video where you're outside on a chair talking to the camera. That is so different from all these other videos, which are whiteboards. It's a different format in general. And there's so many different formats. We're all talking heads. There's edited talking heads. There's whiteboard videos. There's screenshot videos. There's so many different formats. What you want to understand is you want to create a list of all these formats. This is what we do at my agency, by the way, for my clients. Create a list of different formats, create a list of different title frameworks, and create a list of your unique advantages and your personal brand. Like have all of these different sheets, which I'm not going to get into as much in this video, but you want to have all these different sheets in order for you to be unique, and then leverage a different format from what everyone else is using, and then a different title framework. And then those combined is what's going to make you the number one person in your market. Just finding a way to stand out. And I say this in some of my videos, but let's say someone's posting really consistently on their YouTube channel, and it's a huge competitor. They're posting once every single week for the past 10 years, and it's all edited talking head videos, and it's super high quality. Okay, so what you can do to be different is you can post more frequently, 2, 3, 4 times a week, and it can be less quality, but it can also be a different format as well. That's gonna help you stand out because you don't look like the top guy anymore who's everyone's watching. You look kind of different, right? And people are gonna go for you because you're different and everyone else is copying this big guy over here. You just want to find a way to stand out. That's really all it is. And so when it comes to your top of funnel and your middle of funnel content, that's pretty much all what this is going to consist of. Bottom of funnel content is pretty repetitive. A lot of people kind of do the same thing, but once again, different formats, different title frameworks. A lot of people just do over the Zoom call kind of testimonials or case study, like client interview type of thing. I'm a person who did this before. What you can do to be different is get your client in person. I had my client Nick do this. He was at a podcast studio with his actual client, and that video is one of his best performing client interviews ever. And I performed extremely well. So what you can do is just leverage different formats for even those bottom of funnel videos. But for top of funnel and middle of funnel, this is pretty much what it consists of, just finding a way to be different. And even with the value that you're providing in your videos, you don't want to sound like everyone else as well. You want to make sure you actually do competitor research. And we do this at my agency because our clients they're too busy to even do this stuff. They just want to focus on their business. And so when it comes to competitor research, you want to see what your competitors are saying and you want to find a way to be different. For example, in this video, what a lot of people do when it comes to this topic is they would have a screen share, right? They'd have a screen share on the laptop on a Miro board video, and it'd be breaking down, okay, this is what video you're going to post, this video after that, this video after that. I'm not going to do that because I want to be different. But what I will give you in this video is some actionable advice. And so I don't like leaving you just with information. And so for top of funnel videos, so you want to be able to appeal to your ideal client profile, but you also want to be able to appeal to the broad market. And so your top of funnel content is going to be this stuff in the middle, right? That's your top of funnel content right there. And we do this because top of funnel content is extremely broad, right? So you need to be able to appeal to the broad market as well as your ideal client profile at the same time. If it's only appealing to the broad market, then you're probably never going to get your ideal client profile whatsoever, right? And so you always want to have them kind of in the mix. But when it comes to middle funnel content is going to be a mixture of objection handling and the ideal client profile always in mind. Objection handling is important because your viewers are always watching, they're always having silent objections in your head. Does this guy even know what he's talking about? Does this guy actually have the proof that he's actually doing what he said he's doing? You need to understand the viewers are always thinking that, and you need to always be able to object and handle those things. And then when bottom of funnel, this is probably the most simple one. It's pretty much going to be results and then your ideal client profile in mind. At this point, top of funnel, the broad market is out the picture. At this point, it's just people in the middle funnel who are probably watching this, and then people who are at the bottom of funnel stage, they're just watching to see your proof, and then they're going to go into your offer. And it's always going to be your ICP watching these videos. And so if you want to learn more about how to grow on YouTube and actually make money with YouTube for your business, you can go on my channel, hit subscribe, and look at all my other videos about that stuff. And if you want to work with my agency to add an additional 30 to 100K plus a month from YouTube organically, click the first link below to book a free call with my agency. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.